All right, welcome back to Paper Movies, a novelization book club. I'm your host, Adam, joined by my co host up here, Jeremy. And we are joined again by Noah from Quality Autism. We're talking about the third Bond story in the Brosnan era, The World Is Not Enough. The novelization was by Raymond Benson, based on the screenplay by Neil Purvis and Robert Wade. This came out in 1999. We've already covered Goldeneye and Tomorrow Never Dies. We'll post links where you can go check out those discussions. So, yeah, this is more or less our Christmas special, because this is one of the Bond stories that I know where Bond partakes in Christmas. We'll explain more later. Not necessarily the holiday, like I said. We'll get into that. So, The World Is Not Enough. The story, when a wealthy oil tycoon, Sir Robert King, who is also a personal friend of M's, is killed during a terrorist attack against MI6. James Bond is sent to investigate who orchestrated the attack and to protect Robert King's daughter, Electra, who was recently kidnapped prior to this story by a terrorist named Renard, who was believed to be killed by another MI6 agent. Now, Bond suspects that Renard is behind the attack, and he, along with a nuclear scientist named Dr. Christmas Jones, travel across the world to prevent both Renard and a secret conspirator from causing a nuclear disaster
and bringing oil prices up.
Oh, yes.
Consequence of it, yeah, because this is the oil Bond film.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just get into this one?
Go right ahead.
This novelization's fine. I have my stuff hanging out. Sorry. For those of you on video, I didn't realize my closet was open. I have some. This, in my opinion, is the weakest of the Benson novelizations. I'm not saying it's bad, but what I am saying is bad is Bond is using the wall again for no reason. There is no reason to be using that gun. We got the beautiful P99, RIP Walther's P99. It is no longer in production as of last year. A very early, probably one of the first elegant striker fired pistols, let's say. It was their response to the Glock. This was a solid gun. P99 was a solid gun. The PPK, I'm not saying it's a bad gun, but 380 in 1999 is not a good cartridge when you're fighting people that typically have body armor.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Quantum of Solace, where in Casino Royale, Daniel Craig carried the P99, and then in Quantum of Solace, there's like no explanation for it. He just started carrying the PPK.
Well, and then he carries the PPK in Skyfall, and they make a big deal out of it. It has that stupid grip with the palm reader on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying. He doesn't carry the P99 through all of Casino Royale because he's actually using an FN pistol in the black and white prologue.
So Noah, what are your thoughts?
Pretty similar to Jeremy's. I think it's the weakest in terms of connections or like expanding stuff. It still expands on a lot of elements, but his other novelizations do more of that, and especially to like Fleming original material. Because with this novelization, I was curious if he's going to bring in connections to On Her Majesty's Secret Service, because obviously the movie, tries to connect heavily to that thematically as well, and that's where the title actually comes from. But that's not really happening in the book. What he does do is, the one element that sticks in my mind, having read it, once again, he heavily expands on the bad guy with a big backstory, which is nice. And he adds in some deleted scenes.
Yeah, I actually, before we started recording, I just watched those deleted scenes from the movie. And some of
Oh.
those deleted scenes were actually featured in this novelization. Like, such a. Uh, if you've seen the movie, then you know at the beginning where he's at that bank, he retrieves Sir Robert King's money, but a sniper kills a henchman that allows Bond to escape. Well, that was actually revealed to be Renard. He reveals it in the movie because he mentions it, but in the deleted scene, it actually shows Renard after that talking with that girl that kills the banker who had Robert King's money.
Oh, on that note, he gives her a name, which I found very funny because it's such a. She's like Italian, so of course her name is Giulietta da Vinci.
Yeah, yeah, like I think they also describe her as cigar girl.
Yep.
But yeah, they do make a couple of references to On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Electra King asks him, "Have you ever lost a loved one?" It doesn't actually, mention his wife, but it does imply that, like it said, like Bond, you know, made an effort to make sure that he didn't give too much away about that, and then of course, "The world is not enough" is the Bond family motto.
Yeah, and that was a weird thing back when this came out because the Brosnan films, kind of unlike the Dalton stuff, which was very clear was a continuation of where Roger Moore left off. There was such a gap between License to Kill and GoldenEye that I think a lot of people, myself included, until I rewatched these as an adult, thought that this was a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got different Moneypenny, different M. But this was the first film that's like, yeah, no, the other stuff happened. But
Right.
which was kind of I like that, but at the same time, there's not enough of it.
No, I think I would say the biggest one thing that they had that would like indicate, yeah, like it's still a continuation of all the previous stories is Q, Major Boothroyd, played by Desmond Llewellyn, which is this was his last Bond film that he made before he passed away, and they were introducing the character R, so that's kind of a good way that they kind of tied it into the other movies.
And biggest connection obviously is in the next movie then when he visits the new Q and he's seeing all the old gadgets and stuff.
Oh yeah, he mentions this is where they keep the old relics like the rocket launcher from Thunderball and everything.
Yeah, the jetpack and
Oh yeah, the jetpack. Sorry, I said
the
rocket launcher.
alligator from Octopussy, I think, is there too.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was gonna make this. I made this note that they answered a question that I was kind of curious about. That's never really explained in the movie. Noah, you mentioned that Raven Benson did, a decent job at like being a little bit more expansive with details. But at the beginning of this movie, Bond is like you could tell like he's out for blood. Like he wants the name of uh, an MI6 agent. In the movie, it's 009. In the book, it's 0012. He's killed by an unknown assassin who is later revealed to be Renard because 0012 tried to kill Renard. He put a bullet in his head and the bullet's still there. And a note on, I got something on that, but he like Bond was like out for blood to try to get that name. And I was just like was 0012 or whoever like a personal friend of his? And they actually explained that Bond didn't actually talk to him that much, but all 00 agents, like if one is killed out in the field, they all take it personally.
That's from the Moonraker novel too, because there's a 00 that comes back really mangled. That's like a small plot line in that, and
That's
Bond is
right.
worried about his health.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah. Okay. Can't believe I forgot that.
It's a tiny plot line in that book that's kind of similar to this. Although that's more of a missile that's going to blow up the UK.
Well, if that was the case, then like I appreciate Raymond Benson paying attention to detail and everything. So
Oh yeah, I mean, I can talk about this. I think I'm the only one who has read all his other stuff because yeah, he was like the big James Bond writer at the time.
mhm.
So yeah, and I mean, kind of the best continuation author. So yeah, his qualities still shine through in his novelization here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I thought the novelization was written very well. It was fine. Um, uh, but I do agree. I think Goldeneye and Tomorrow Never Dies, I thought were better.
Film wise or novelization wise?
Novelization. The film itself for me is, I still enjoy it. It's kind of more, nostalgia because this is the first Bond film I've seen in theaters. I was like 10 years old. Me and my dad saw it, and I remember that it had like a big reception, like kind of like with GoldenEye, it came out with a 64 game, and there's also like a PlayStation game and everything.
An underrated game.
Mhm.
Enough is an underrated FPS. Yeah, not as good as GoldenEye game wise, but at the same time, it's pretty great. In my opinion, the best Bond game is Agent Under Fire for the PS2.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
This one, World Is Not Enough. The game is very great. Also, Desmond Llewellyn did the trailers for the game,
I remember those. Yeah.
which are very fun. If you haven't seen those, go check them out. It's, I think technically his last acting gig before he died.
Wow.
Um,
But yeah, with the movie, quick.
Good. Yeah.
That because that's also something I like with the novelization. He tries to fix some of the problems I had with it, similar to like Tomorrow Never Dies, which is good because with the movie, to me, it's one of the more frustrating ones because it has the potential to be really great, but ends up being kind of messy in terms of story, especially. But again, Benson tries to fix that, and he even tries to explain some of the more nonsense elements, like Renard's gimmick with the bullet in his head making him stronger.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dark Man, like he can't feel pain and he's stronger than the average man or something like that. And
Yeah, but then Benson goes a step further and he explains, okay, but why is he then losing at the end to James Bond? And he actually gives an explanation to it.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty nice. You can tell he's thinking about what are they writing here? How is this supposed to make sense?
I will say he also made so of course we'll get into spoilers. The main villain of this is actually Electra King, Robert King's daughter. It was revealed that she was kidnapped by Renard and she developed Stockholm syndrome, and she M also played a big part in she advised Robert King to not pay the ransom demand, and she becomes the target for Electra King's revenge, and she was the one that actually orchestrated the terrorist attack against her dad. And Raymond Benson did a better job at kind of making her more menacing than the movie did. The movie, she was kind of more like a Saturday morning cartoon villain. And
well, she's overacting because Denise Richards can't act.
yeah.
She has to act for two.
Yeah.
But I did appreciate that. The one thing I didn't care for, though, you just mentioned the scene, Noah, was the whole scene on the submarine at the end after Bond kills Electra King. He dives into the submarine to stop Renard from detonating the nuclear sub, and that whole scene was like maybe 10-15 minutes in the movie. It was like 10 pages in the book.
Yeah, pretty rushed. But I mean, that whole climax in the film is so dumb.
I still don't fully understand how he shot. Like he, Renard was, had this giant like a golden. Um, it was a device that he was inserting into the reactor to cause it to overload, and like Bond like somehow shot it out and like impaled him. Like I'm still kind of. I was like, how did he do that?
I don't know. I don't think the filmmakers knew, because this is the first script from who are those guys that have ruined Bond?
Purvis and Wade. Get used to them.
Yeah, well, actually, they aren't writers anymore. I think Amazon.
Oh yeah, now they are done.
Too little, too late. Amazon will ruin Bond on their own. Hot take, but probably an accurate one. If Rings of Power is anything to show for Amazon's power to ruin IPs they get their hands on. Yeah, I don't know. This book is better than the film. It has some good chapters in it. It's very enjoyable, but I think this is weaker than Tomorrow Never Dies and Die Another Day. It's not weaker than Goldeneye. Goldeneye's, in my opinion, is kind of a boring novelization. It's just the movie on the page. But I mean, especially compared to what John Gardner did with License to Kill.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that one is. That's when it becomes unintentionally hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah. I will say this, because we haven't talked about these with these Benson novelizations. They do exist in hardcover for you hardcover fans.
Mm-hmm.
They are damn near impossible to find in hardcover, and they are very expensive.
Don't you have one of them, Jeremy?
No, I have the hardcover novelization I have is License to Kill.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason you had Tomorrow Never Dies.
Oh, I almost bought it, and I got outbid, and it ended up going for $200.
Golly.
I have a German hardcover of Tomorrow Never Dies.
Oh,
I got it on accident because I ordered a paperback, but I'm not complaining.
Yeah, that's a good find. But yeah, no, I've seen The World Is Not Enough go for about $100 on eBay before.
The original Bond novels themselves, like since they came out with the abridged versions, I don't think
ones.
Yeah, I don't think they print the original versions anymore. And the Penguin classics that me and you own, Jeremy, like
really?
I saw, they're very expensive, like on eBay.
Every edition, Ian Fleming books sell very well in the used market now because of that. Same with Roald Dahl stuff, because they censored it. It's so embarrassing that we live in a time that just wants to do shit like that. It's just, I mean, sorry, I swore on paper movies, but it is something I'm very passionate about. Is that how are we supposed to learn from past mistakes if you censor the mistakes? Like, make that make sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
How are we supposed to be better as a people by getting rid of things? I'm not saying we should dwell on them, but I'm saying they should be there because they represent the authenticity of their times.
Yeah.
I don't think Huckleberry Finn is nearly as racist as everyone claims it is. It has its racist moments, but it is the language of said time, because that was where this all kind of began in America, was with Huckleberry Finn.
Have they censored that one?
I don't know. They may have. Huckleberry Finn's a weird case because Mark Twain is public domain. So technically, there probably are censored versions, but there's also uncensored ones that are still in print, because anyone can print the Huckleberry Finn.
Well, let's wait until Bond hits the public domain.
It won't. It probably won't. The Fleming estate, they love their monies. It's one of those things. Like, copyright's so weird now in America, and more things really should be public domain that aren't. And it's very unfortunate.
It's kind of like nowadays, like if it's going into public domain, people turn it into horror movies. Like Steamboat Willie is about to become a horror movie, and Winnie the
Yeah,
Pooh is becoming a
Oh
horror
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Popeye is coming a horror movie, and
yeah. I bet Disney died inside finding out the Steamboat. Yeah, because that was a loophole in their
yeah, because it's not technically Mickey Mouse; it's Steamboat Steamboat Willie, but Mickey Mouse is still copyrighted.
yeah, and I bet you Bob Iger kind of had an ulcer over that one. Mind you, that Disney is a corporation that sues elementary schools for painting Mickey Mouse on walls.
I've heard that before, yeah.
Yeah, they have a whole legal team dedicated to suing people for things like that.
So
No,
I was wanting to ask you guys though, what was your favorite and least favorite addition that they made to this novelization? Noah?
ooh, okay, favorite. Um, what two things come to mind? The expansion of Renard's backstory, because that's always pretty great when we get more on the villain. But I also want to say the reduction of the existence of Christmas Jones,
Hmm.
which we haven't really talked about. But yeah, I feel like she has less presence in this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. The Renard backstory I thought was good, but I thought it was just in a weird spot. Like it was added near the end.
That
And
shocked me as well, that it came so late in the book.
You know what it reminds me of is Doctor No. Near the end of that, his like whole villainous monologue
Hmm.
happens way late in that book too. But it's a little earlier on than this. But that's the only one that comes close where we get like all Doctor No, his whole backstory. He just straight up tells Bond before he makes him go through the torture maze. Um, and then it's okay. He gets dumped into a pile of poop and dies. You gotta love Fleming. He had a good sense of humor of things. But yeah, mine's about the same. It'd probably be the Renard chapter is the best thing. As for worst, it's the PPK. It just doesn't make sense, especially when they made such a big deal getting the P99. It's just a prime example of authors don't shoot guns typically, unless you're Larry Correa. He seems to be the only one that cares about guns and actually writes guns properly.
I think for me, my favorite thing that they added was again the why why Bond took 0012's death so personally. My least favorite thing that they added, ooh, I can't remember too much. I think it's just I think it's just kind of tied with Renard's chapter. It wasn't like that it was bad. It was just it was rushed. Like they're like, oh, yeah, this book's about the end. Let's throw in like one more chapter about Renard. Like let's find out about the man that's like about to die like 3 pages later. You know?
Yeah, it's a good chapter though.
Oh yeah, it is. Um, but yeah, so yeah, we haven't actually talked about it, and I made a I made a note that this has been the whole thing about there's this whole like thing where Dr. Jones, her first name is Christmas, and she hates all the Christmas jokes. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw in a Christmas joke. This is, our de facto Christmas special for paper movies.
Well, you ran out of Home Alone books to read.
That's true. And I've already read Batman Returns, so and we've
Wait,
read
ones.
read Gremlins, yeah.
And there's no Die Hard novelization. The only
No.
Die Hard novelizations for Die Hard with a Vengeance.
They do have a novelization for the Silent Night, Deadly Night now. So
We could do that, I suppose.
next year, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Someone make an audiobook of Silent Night, Deadly Night. Please. So
but
I can sit and listen to it.
But yeah, the world is not enough. Like I said, that a story, the whole movie itself nostalgic for me. Like I still enjoy both the movie and I do enjoy the novelization. I think the novelization is better. Um, but that's like for a rating goes, I will give it a B plus. It's very well written. But the ending scene was just a little rushed for me, and the Renard scene was just felt out of place. Like, not that it was, like we've mentioned, it wasn't unnecessary. It was just in a weird spot in the book. Like, it's just kind of like, oh, hi. And we haven't even mentioned that this story sees the return of Valentin Sikorsky.
He doesn't. He doesn't do all that much.
No.
But yeah, he's a fun character, you know.
He is. It's better than the American guy they brought in.
Oh, the villain from Living Daylights.
Yeah, that is now a hero in Goldeneye and Tomorrow Never Dies. I hate that character. Just calls Bond Jimbo and just a dumbass.
Oh,
Jack Wade?
Yeah, Jack Wade, yeah.
Yeah, modern day Sheriff Pepper.
Yeah, pretty much, but not as memorable. J.W. Pepper will always be the greatest character of the Moore films.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you guys rate this, Noah?
I think I rated this a 6 out of 10, so it's slightly above average.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's decent. It fixes some of the problems I have with the movie, but not all of them. But for fans of it, I would recommend it. You get some nice things out of this one.
Okay. Jeremy?
3.5 out of 5. Same. It fixes things. It changes. Does weird changes, because I talked about the PPK because that's just annoying. But I mean, Bond's running around with a Browning high power instead of the 1911 at the end, which is a weird change. I'm not sure. That's kind of specific to be like it's a high power, instead of like what would be like in 1911. That's used in a lot of militaries. That makes sense. Or him running around with a Beretta would have made sense too. But a Browning high power. I mean, I like the Browning high power.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good gun. That's a wonderful, wonderful gun.
Speaking of change, I completely forgot to mention this. We mentioned Sikorsky, but a big change was his right-hand man, Mr. Bullion. Like he's completely different, and he's somewhat different in the book than he is in the movie. In the movie, he's like kind of a little bit more wimpy, and he's shorter than Bond, and he's like easily like overpowered by Bond a couple of times. But in the book, he's like they describe him as like being like 7 feet tall, and did you guys catch that?
Yeah, I think that's just because
about that.
The villain needs a big henchman.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like Benson didn't know who they cast as the actor, so you know.
Oh, that's true, yeah. But yeah, I just thought about that. I was like, oh, we should mention that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think that pretty much covers The World Is Not Enough. Definitely recommend it if you enjoy the 007 films, especially the Brosnan ones. It's an easy read. It kind of like, as we mentioned, it doesn't fix everything with the movie, but you know, it improves some things. Like Electra King is more menacing in the book, so yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't. But again, if you're trying to find it in hardcover, I mean, hopefully you'll be able to afford it.
Win the lottery,
or actually, like in the PS1 game, you have to get the information about who's working with Renard. from Sikorsky. You have to win $100,000 in his casino. So just go do that. Then you'll be able to buy.
Yeah, go gambling, and maybe you will get this book.
Pay your taxes beforehand, though. You don't want to get audited by the IRS.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Noah, thank you so much again for joining us for another 007 discussion. Hopefully, we'll have you back next time when we talk about Die Another Day. We have it
the greatest of the Brosnan movies.
Yeah, the greatest of the Brosnan movies with the surfing and
Madonna.
Yeah. and but anyway, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you guys next time. Have a happy holidays, and we'll catch you guys next month.
Yeah, and remember, unlike enjoy your Christmas, because unlike in this book, Christmas only comes once a year.